For years, the Undertale community has operated under one massive assumption, that Deltarune is the end of the story. We treat it like the grand finale, the final piece of the puzzle Toby Fox is putting together before he moves on to something completely different. But what if we're wrong? What if Deltarune isn't the end of the story, but just the middle chapter of a much larger, overarching trilogy? I know, a third game sounds like a stretch, but the evidence is actually hiding in plain sight. Let's just look at the official promotional box art style for the games we have so far. When you place them side by side, look at exactly where the text is anchored. Deltarune sits firmly at the top, and Undertale sits dead in the center, leaving a massive, perfectly symmetrical, entirely empty space right at the bottom, waiting for the third and final piece of the puzzle. But to figure out what goes in that empty space, we have to rewind. A while back, Toby Fox famously said that if Nintendo ever localized the Mother Tree for the West, people would finally realize just how unoriginal he is. Most people took this as a humble joke. They assumed he just meant that Undertale was heavily inspired by the Earthbound series. But what if he meant something much more literal? Think about it. The Mother series is a trilogy: Earthbound Beginnings, Earthbound, and Mother Tree. 3 distinct games with distinct worlds that are ultimately tied together by an overarching narrative trend. Toby Fox isn't just making a spiritual successor to Earthbound, he is making his own Mother trilogy. Look at Toby's development studio right now. During Undertale, aside from Tammy Chang doing some of the sprites, he worked almost entirely alone. But for Deltarune, he has spent years meticulously building a highly efficient, fully functioning development team that can pump out chapters in like a single year. You don't spend half a decade building a permanent, well-oiled game studio just to disband it the second Chapter 7 drops. Toby has explicitly stated that he is not done making games after Deltarune, and he has never once confirmed that Deltarune is the final installment of this universe. There is a third game coming, and the clues for what it is has been staring us in the face since 2018. Let's take a look at the skeletons. Take a look at the official titles for the games. Notice anything about the casing? Undertale is written in all capital letters. Deltarune is written in all lowercase letters. Toby Fox does not do things by accident. This casing directly mirrors the 2 most iconic brothers in the franchise. Undertale is Papyrus. He speaks exclusively in all caps, and he plays a massive foundational role in Undertale's world. Deltarune, on the other hand, is Sans. He speaks entirely in lowercase. But more importantly, the game of Deltarune is intrinsically tied to Sans' backstory. If you remember in Undertale, Sans is completely detached. He has given up on trying to go back to where he came from. The overwhelming evidence in the community points to the Deltarune universe being that exact place. Meanwhile, Papyrus has been completely missing from every chapter of Deltarune so far, despite his speech sound still being in every single chapter. Undertale is the all-caps game for the all-caps brother. Deltarune is a lowercase game, the lowercase brother. But wait, if this is a trilogy, that means we are missing a skeleton, and we are missing a game. We all know that Deltarune is an anagram of Undertale. It's the same letters, rearranged to create a new word. And okay, yes, there are some anagrams, such as Nut Dealer, Nude Alert, and Late Nude. As amazing as Nut Dealer would be as the title for the third game, meme anagrams aside, there is a third, actual 9-letter anagram that nobody is taking seriously. Unrelated, I predict that the casing for this title will be in formal case, a single capital letter at the start of the word. Now Gaster usually speaks in all caps, but one way he does speak is very formally, as a scientist would, so I believe it lines up. Yes, the third skeleton is a royal scientist W.D. Gaster. This actually addresses a a big concern going around the community right now. With Chapter 5 finally out, acting as a bit of a calm before the storm chapter, a lot of people are getting worried. They look at the remaining 2 chapters and think, there is no way Toby Fox has enough time to wrap up every single plot thread, answer every lore question, and fully explain Gaster in just chapters 6 and 7. Personally, I don't think that's the problem. I think Toby is more than capable of pacing out his own story. But what if he doesn't plan to finish Gaster's story in Deltarune at all? What if Gaster's true conclusion is being intentionally saved for the 3rd game? But how would a game called Unrelated even work? Why would Toby Fox name the grand finale of his magnum opus something that implies it has nothing to do with the first 2 games? To answer that, we have to go right back to Toby's confession about Mother Tree. When Mother Tree first released, it completely threw fans off. It featured a new cast, a new setting, and on the surface, it felt completely unrelated to Mother 1 and 2. It felt like a totally different game. But as you play through Mother Tree, you realize that the worlds are connected by one single terrifying key figure, Porky. In the Mother series, Porky is a time-traveling immortal, trapped in a broken body by Mother Tree. He didn't just hop between places, he quite literally brought people from the past into the future, manipulating the timeline and pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Sound familiar? W.D. Gaster is Toby Fox's Porky. Gaster isn't necessarily going to be a villain with Porky's exact personality. I don't see that happening at all. But functionally, narratively, he is the exact same archetype. He is a shattered entity scattered across time and space, pulling the strings in the background of Deltarune. The 3rd game, Unrelated, will initially look exactly like its title implies. A brand new world, completely unconnected to Frisk or Chris or the Underground or the Dark Fountains. But lingering in the shadows of that 3rd game will be Gaster, the formal-speaking, shattered scientist who acts as the final connective tissue, tying Undertale, Deltarune, and Unrelated together into one massive, cohesive trilogy. 3 games, 3 text casings, 3 skeletons. I've seen a lot of opinions online that people are saying that they wouldn't want a 3rd game in the Undertale Deltarune series. But what I'm saying is that the 3rd game will be unrelated.